This is where things really start to click. In this lesson, you'll learn the essentials of threading your machine, understanding tension, and most importantly, how to troubleshoot when things don't quite go to plan. Every sewist runs into tangles, loops, or uneven stitches at some point, and this is your moment to learn exactly how to fix them with confidence. Instead of feeling frustrated, you'll start to see these little hiccups as simple, solvable puzzles. By the end, you'll not only know how to set up your machine properly, but you'll also feel empowered to handle any stitching surprises that come your way. Let's turn confusion into confidence. So step one is to wind and insert the bobbin. So you place your spool of thread on the spool pin. You get the end of the thread and pass it through the thread guide over here and just leave your thread there for the moment. Get an empty bobbin. You'll find that there are these tiny little holes on the bobbin which you can thread your thread through. Pop it on the bobbin spool like that. You push the bobbin to the side, to the right, to engage the process, and then just holding that and then stop. Cut your thread off the top so it doesn't get loose and stuck in the bobbin case later on, and then keep going. And if you leave it be, it will thread, because this is thread top to bottom, it'll thread evenly top to bottom on your bobbin spool. So let's just keep going with this. So you'll see in a minute the bobbin will come to a stop when it's full, and it will just stop automatically, so you don't have to worry about not knowing when to stop. See there, it starts to sort of slow down. That's when you know that your bobbin is full. You press it to the left to disengage, and this one is a bit stiff. There we go. Take that off the top, and then I have a full bobbin. Snip it off, and then we're ready to insert it into the bobbin case. So we hold the bobbin like so, with the thread coming off the spool and going off to the right. So it's heading to the right. We take out the bobbin case, snap that into the bobbin case, and you'll see there that there's a little sort of gap there. We push the thread through there, push it through, and then it comes out this hole here, connect it under there. So we've just pushed the thread from up here through to this exit part of the bobbin case. Then we pull it a little bit so you've got enough to work with, and then click the bobbin case back into position with just a small click, and then we're ready to thread the top thread. So leaving the entry to the bobbin case open, we take the upper thread here, we take the upper thread, hook the upper thread onto the thread guide here, pass it down, and there's a little arrow that shows you hook it around the bottom there, and you pull it back up, and then you adjust the hand wheel to make sure that you can see that little lever pop up there, and you hook it onto that, pass it back down and around. So after you've passed your thread through there, you hook it onto here, and then hook it on to the needle shaft, and then you thread your needle. The needle gets threaded, and then you pass it through the middle of the presser foot. And then we're ready to get the bobbin thread up and engaging with the upper thread. So you can see we've got the upper thread here and the lower thread here. To engage them together, you do one sweep, pulling the wheel towards you, and you can see that the upper thread is passing through. You pull, and then that automatically, when you get the loop through, there's the loop there, and that automatically passes the bobbin thread up through the hole, so they're now both at the top of the sewing machine. So now your lower thread is coming out of the hole in the plate. Then you close the door, and you're ready to sew. So just a word on thread tension. Thread tension refers to the tightness of the thread as it forms each stitch. Proper tension ensures that stitches are balanced and fabric layers are held together securely without puckering or loose loops. So how do you test tension? Well, you sew a test seam on a scrap of fabric from your project, and then you examine the stitches. Both top and bottom threads should meet neatly in the middle of the fabric layers. If the top thread is visible on the bottom, or the bottom thread is visible on the top, tension needs adjustment, which can be done on the tension dial just here. But the tension dial goes from 1 to 9. So you turn the dial to a higher number for a tighter tension, or to a lower number for looser tension. So just make small adjustments till you get the right stitching that's appropriate for your project. So just going through some common tension issues and solutions. If your stitches are loose and loopy on the underside, the upper thread tension is too loose. So you need to increase the upper thread tension to about a 7 or an 8. If your fabric is puckering, then the upper thread tension is too tight and you need to decrease the upper thread tension to about a 2 or a 3. If there's thread bunching in the bobbin area, it means that you have incorrect threading or lint in the tension discs. You need to re-thread your machine and clean the tension discs. If your stitches are skipped or uneven, the needle is not inserted correctly or it's blunt. So reinsert the needle and replace the needle. So tips for success: always thread the machine with the presser foot raised. Use quality thread and needles suitable for your fabric. Clean your machine regularly, especially around the tension discs in the bobbin area. You'll find that you're given a brush in your sewing machine kit that's got a static effect, which will pick up all that nasty dust really, really easily from the inside of your sewing machine. But most importantly, refer to your manual for machine-specific instructions and troubleshooting. In fact, you should really, when you get your sewing machine, read those instructions from beginning to finish. It might seem a bit boring to do so, but it'll save you in the long term because you'll be so knowledgeable about your machine, you won't ever have problems. So in the next lesson, we'll practice straight stitching and I'll show you how to reinforce your stitches by doing a back tack at the beginning and the end of your seam run. So see you in the next lesson. I look forward to teaching you again. Bye for now.